All right, here we go. Well, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate you agreeing to help us with this new project that we're doing and helping us with new connectors. And so what I want to go over tonight is really three things just to help you understand what it is we're doing so you have the background and all that. And then logistics of what we're going to be asking you to do. And then the third thing is just, we've done this a little bit, so just looking at being able to see, some examples of some other things that we've done. So it looks like maybe Chris joined us. Did you join us,
Yeah, I
Chris?
just joined. Yes,
Okay, good.
I'm trying to load the app, so I'm not in yet completely.
Oh, that's okay. By the way, just so you know, we're recording this. Just want to make sure that everybody knows that when you're getting recorded, because we have a couple people who are also going to be helping with this that weren't able to be here this evening. So I was going to record it and then they can just see the video. So just so you're aware of that. Okay, well, what this all is about, I think that probably you guys have heard us talking about how we really want to increase our volunteer network in 2018. We just really feel like there's a lot of opportunity for people to participate in what we're doing and just to be able to serve the persecuted church in that way. And one of the ones that we really want to be able to enlarge is are the connectors. We just really, oh, there's Chris. We can see him now. Are the connectors. Just want to be able to have more people out there talking about the persecuted church the way that you guys are and the way our other connectors are, and how important that is for people to get out there and get the message. Um, so anyway, in trying to do that, we also looked at how can we streamline and make the process a little bit easier for people to get from wanting to be a connector to actually being a connector. And so we've retooled that whole process just a little bit, and I'll go through that with you so you're aware of how that works. But we did a test. We did a test in April where we were looking at promoting through the internet and through emails to invite people to join us as volunteers through all the different volunteer types, not just connectors, but just to volunteer for us. And we sent them to our website where we have a page, and I'll show you that in a minute if you guys haven't seen it yet, with all of our different volunteer positions. And so that was just a test of a small group, and it went really well. We had over about 45 people sign up who want to be connectors. And so what we were planning on doing is once they signed up to be a connector, they received an email, and this email said, here's what you're supposed to do next. Here's some training. We had an orientation video and then a short video that talked about what a connector was, because we were trying to get them a little further along before we actually spoke to them. We figured if they get through the training before we start talking to them, and spending a lot of time with them, then they'll at least have a better understanding of what the expectations are, and we'll know they're a little more committed and that kind of thing. So we were asking them to look at these two things, and then how we had it set up was we had these automated emails to follow up, and I swear this really is going somewhere, so bear with me. But we had these automated emails set up, one to go out after 7 days and one to go out after 14 days if they hadn't completed the training yet, and just saying, hey, we see, you haven't completed the training yet. Is there anything, can we help you, whatever. And then the last email that we had that was automatically set up is after 60 days. If they didn't complete the training, then we were going to send them an email that, basically said, hey, we haven't heard from you. We don't want to keep sending you emails. Not those words exactly, but, kind of that concept. We don't want to just keep spamming your inbox. So we're just going to, quit contacting you. If you want to be a volunteer or connector in the future, you can go back to the website and sign up. So that was the original plan of what we were going to do. And then once they completed the training, then either David or I would talk to them, in some cases maybe Sue, and then we'd get them a little more, inculcated into the whole thing of, what it's like to be a connector and what the expectations are and things like that. So it sounded like a really great plan. But one of the things that we found is there was this real there was just this problem between signing up and actually finishing this initial training that we had for them. We probably, after 2 or 3 weeks, probably 80% of the people who signed up had not completed the training. And, we knew that there would be people who'd sign up and then later on they, whatever, how people are, they would change their mind or they'd get all excited in the moment and then, and not really follow through. So we expected there to be kind of some breakage in that aspect, but that was a pretty big number. So we started doing follow-up calls with these people, and we found that it was because a lot of them had questions. They had, questions just about, different things, and I'll go through some of the questions that we found on them, but that was to have a human being call them and talk to them and really find out what was going on. Are you not interested at all? Do you just not understand what you're supposed to do? Did you lose the link? What kinds of things happen? And so that's where we're hoping that you guys can help us when we do this next push. We're gonna start on May the 8th promoting our volunteers, and so we're expecting that we're going to get a pretty good group of people based on this test that we did in April, and so we're really going to need some help in getting people through this initial intake process. And just following up with them and making sure they know what they're supposed to do, that they've got the link, that they, if they have initial questions, somebody who's been a connector that kind of can talk to them about it will know. So that's what we're hoping that you guys can do for us. So anyway, that's kind of an really brief overview, and I'll go into some more details. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Does all that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, good. Well, what we're hoping that you guys can do for us is that we will send you, and you can help us determine how many people you feel like you can handle, and after you see what it is you're supposed to do with them, and we'll send you a spreadsheet with their name and their contact information, and we will try to keep people within like 1 or 2 time zones of you. We, like, for instance, Chris, we won't give you people in California, but if we have a lot of people in the central zone, we may give you some of those. So just be watching for time zone issues with those. But really, your job in doing this will be just to get them through the training and know that they have completed the training. So what this will kind of look like is, I'll show you an example. I did this flow chart, and it's not really a particularly good flow chart, but I hope it'll be helpful to kind of understand how this process is going to work. So I'm going to share my screen here so that you can see this. Okay, here we go. Okay, can you guys see this flow chart? I'll make it a little bigger here. Okay, so what's going to happen is you guys are going to get a spreadsheet, and I'll show you a sample of that here in a minute. And if you look in the top middle part of this here where it says send email, that's kind of where it starts. And what we'd like for you to do, and this is what we've been doing, it seems to work pretty well, is to begin by sending the person an email. And, we'll give you some sample emails that you can take and, make your own. But just to give you some things, or you can just cut and paste them, use them as they are. But send them an email. I find that works better. If you try to call people, generally you're going to get their voicemail, and then you're going to play phone tag a whole lot of times. If you email, then you guys can communicate whenever it's convenient for everybody. So send them an email. Say, hey, I saw that you signed up to be a connector, but you haven't completed the training. Is there anything we can help you with? Do you have any questions? Just offer to help them. And so if you look, if you go to the left, okay, this will be the first example. If you get no response after 7 days, then you'll go down here, then call them. So we try the email first. If that doesn't work, give them a call. And, most people you're going to get voicemail. Let's face it, we all look and see if we don't recognize the number, we don't pick it up. So you're probably going to get voicemail, and leave them a message. You may actually talk to people, but, say, hey, I'm Chris, and saw that you signed up. Just wondered if you had any questions, if there's anything we can help you with. And then the next step then in that particular scenario is if you don't hear that from them in 7 days, then we'll just assume they're not interested because they've had two contacts from you, an email and a call. So we know that in case the email was bad or they don't ever check their email or something, we've done a couple of contacts. Plus, we're still going to be sending them these emails that I mentioned before, these automatic emails. So, we're going to just not spend any more time on them and move on to people who actually, want to engage with us and stuff. Because you guys know how this works. People go in and they sign up, and there's several volunteer positions, and they probably go in and just, a lot of them sign up for a whole bunch of them, and then they just, afterwards they decide they don't want to do it. So that's going to happen, and that's okay. It's really better that we know than spend a lot of time, trying to get a hold of them or talking to them or whatever, and that, it's just better for everybody if we know right up front. Okay, so that's one scenario. If you just hear from nobody. Then if you look at start at the send email again, and we're going to go straight down this time. So you may get a hold of somebody, again, you're going to do the email first, and they contact you back. And one of the things we've seen people do is they say, you know what, I can't do it right now for whatever reason, it's graduation season, and, my kids are graduating, and I just can't for the next month, or there's lots of reasons why they need some future, they want to do it in the future, but they can't just do it right at the moment. So then what you want to do, and this can either be through email or through phone, whichever is most convenient for you and them. Just confirm that they want to follow up, and when that follow up should be, is it 2 weeks? Is it a month? When is it? And then, mark that on the spreadsheet so we'll know to do follow up with them. Okay, so we're going to go back to start back at send email, and we're going to go to the right this time. So this is really what we want. You won't get this every time, but you may have somebody who actually wants to talk and has questions and wants to talk to you about it. And so then at that point, what I find works really well then is to set up a time with them. And, you can kind of do this on your schedule. You can tell them, hey, I can talk to you on, send them an email and say, hey, I'm available any evening but Wednesday after 5, or on Saturday afternoons, or whatever your schedule is. But give them a little bit of a place to choose from, so that they, not just one time, if you can. And then, let them pick a time, and then call and answer their questions. And then again, you'll mark that on the spreadsheet. So once they get through the training, then David, Sue, or I will talk with them and work with them on their next steps and help them then move forward. A lot of these calls, like this last scenario that we went through here, if people have questions and they want to talk, I've had a few of these conversations with people. They don't last terribly long. Sometimes it's 5 minutes. Sometimes it's, I think probably the longest I've had is like 20 minutes for somebody who really had a lot of questions and wanted to talk a lot. So they don't take a terribly long time, but it seems like it just really helps people to kind of get through this initial sort of action to move on to the next step. Okay, so any questions about that? Okay, well, I'm going to show you a sample contact list, the type of thing that you're going to be getting. So it will look kind of like this. And what we'll do, and actually when we send it to you, these first 3 columns, or the first 4 columns won't be filled in. This is information that you'll fill in, but you will get like a name, address, city, state, zip, email, and phone number. So I put my name in here as an example. And then in column B, and there'll be instructions for all this too, by the way, so you don't have to remember all this, but in column B, when you do an email, just put in the date. When you do if you do a phone call, put in the date. And then you can put in any kind of comments, and just, this can be as helpful to you as it can to us. Can't get a hold of the person, wants to wait a month, or, lost the training link, had to send it to them again, or whatever there is. And so you'll just fill that information in, so we have a record, because we'll want to be able to keep a record with all of these people, so we know, how all of this went. So I hope that's not too confusing. I hope that makes enough sense. Okay, so I'm going to pause here for a second, see if you guys have any questions. Does all that make sense for everybody?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Okay. Okay, good. So that's kind of the basics of what we're wanting you to do. Again, your main job is just to get them through the training. If they don't respond, we just move on to the next person. So, but we want to give them an opportunity. And like I said, a lot of the people I talked to, they had questions or they lost the link or, usually was something pretty simple or, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'll do it this weekend, or so, whatever. So, it's usually pretty simple conversations that we've had with them, but it just seems to kind of help. And plus, then, because I've had a couple of people too who said, I've kind of talked to them and they're like, no, I think I don't want to do that. So we're able just to mark them off and no, and we can just move on and they can move on and not continue to get emails from us. So, another thing I wanted to go through with you guys is I put together some questions based on some of the things that we have seen so far in looking at these, and I will email you this document. But I wanted to go through this with you just so you can kind of see some of the questions we've been getting and the kinds of questions that you'll be getting. A lot of them have been, I lost or I can't find the email with the links, which seems to be a pretty common one. So we'll send you an email. Yeah, I think I have it up here. This is what I do with it. Okay, I don't know what I did with it. I thought I had it up. Anyway, we'll send you a link with the email that actually goes out to them, and it has the links in it, and you can just forward it to them. It's pretty simple, and just forward it to them, and then they can take care of it. One of the questions I got was somebody who applied for several of the volunteer positions and couldn't decide which volunteer position to do. So that really wasn't a terribly complicated conversation. I mean, it was mostly just letting that person kind of talk through, what they like to do and that sort of thing. So it wasn't really difficult. But I did want to go on the website and make sure that you guys know where all of the, and please don't judge me for what's on my screen, okay? My personal emails. On our website, so you guys can go and find out a little bit more about all the volunteer positions, just so you're familiar with them. You go under take action, and here, I'm going to go back here. Take action on the homepage and go down to volunteer. And then here's a list of all of the different volunteer positions. And this is where they signed up. So there's a bunch of them here. Most of them are pretty simple. The prayer partner is just somebody that gets emails and prays. There's not really any kind of, there's not much more connection than that. A prayer group leader is somebody who wants to lead a group that prays for the persecuted church. They're pretty. There's the connector is here. We have campus connectors, people who sign up that want to be a connector type person that are usually it's somebody in college. Kate Yates handles all those, so we don't have to worry about those. An influencer is somebody who is on social media a lot, and basically all they do is they follow us on social media, they share our posts, they make comments and things like that. So kind of their sphere of influence and the people they talk with on social media hear about us. An encourager is people who want to participate in our letter writing campaigns. We have an advocate, which are the people who sign the petitions, do the lobbying, call their congressman, that kind of thing. And then a crowdfunder, this one's very new, but creating an opportunity for people who like to do fundraising that they can just do it on their social network. And we have it all set up that all they have to do is go in and share it on their social network and have whatever goal they want. So those are the volunteer positions that people are signing up for. And if you click on the learn more, you will go to a page that has more information. So this is a connector page, and it just gives more details about what it is and all, what a connector does and all that kind of stuff. So there is more detail. And like I said, the person who asked me about that, it really seriously was just letting him kind of talk through what things he was interested in. Let's see. Oh, and then the third question there. I can't do this right now. we kind of talked about that. Just follow up with them and suggest a time period for follow up. I can't get the link or the video to work. Now, I haven't had that problem with anybody. Kate did have it with someone. If you do have that problem, some people just aren't very technologically uh, adept, so it could just be that they just don't understand. If you can talk them through it, if you can't, just let me know, and we'll get somebody to call them and talk them through it and help them and figure out. Another question that I did get was, I finished yesterday. Now what do I do? Well, that's really great. First thing is just congratulate them for completing. And then you can, I put 5 steps here, and you can think about what's going to be appropriate for the person that you're talking to. A first thing that's really important, there's also a connector manual that they will have access to. They should download that or print it out, and they should read that, and then they can note any questions. There's also a checklist in the manual that says, here's what you should do when you become a connector. And I do think I've got that up here. Here's the checklist. This is part of the manual. Here's the checklist within the manual. So, it says to do the online application, view the orientation video, complete the connector online training, read the connector manual, all that stuff. So they can go through that, which is really a good thing for them to be able to do. And then either David or I will call them, and then we'll talk to them about additional steps and where they go from there and all of that. We'll also send them like a starter packet that has some sample materials in them that, and they can look through those and familiarize themselves. They can begin praying about what God would have them do. They can start thinking about who in their church they would want to go to first to discuss this, because we really want them to go to their church first before they start, going out to other groups. One gentleman that I talked to said, I'm a bit overwhelmed with all this information, so really with that, just kind of listen to their concern, and then, kind of help them break it down on what they will be doing. So, talk about the next steps, have you read the manual, read the manual, write down your questions, and let them know that we'll be calling them and we can go through more details and all of that. Another question we've gotten is this one here, the next to the last question. I'm afraid to speak in front of big groups. Can I still do this? We have a lot of connectors that don't speak in front of big groups. They either do other kinds of things. They hold dinner banquets. They talk to a small group. They have a table in the foyer of their church. So being able to talk in front of big groups is not necessarily a prerequisite. So, you can kind of help them not worry about that. And just talk to them about some of the things that connectors do, things like having an information table or those kinds of things, so that because, those things are just as important and can help connect people really well too. And then another question that we've gotten is, will you get the opportunities for me? And as you guys know, we really are asking them to work in their churches and their community to find opportunities. Once in a great while, we do get requests, but those are pretty rare. So, if they start first with their church, and then, they look at their friends or their neighbors or somebody they know as a Bible study, those are the places that they're going to be looking for opportunities to help connect people to the persecuted church. So, and really here on the bottom, again, just give them encouragement, listen to them, you can share with them about what being a connector is meant to you. You can even pray with them if it seems appropriate. People seem to like to be prayed for. So, you can pray with them if you want, or something like that. So those are some of the questions that we've been seeing so far. I think shouldn't be anything too hard for any of you guys. If you do come across a question that you don't know the answer to, you can just tell them, wow, that's really a great question. Let me find out for you. And, let me know, or Melissa, you can let David know, and we'll help you with that. Plus, it'd be nice if there is some really unusual question, we can stick it on that FAQ so people in the future can know the answer to it too. So we can share that with each other. So yeah, I think that's kind of the basics of what we're wanting you guys to do. I know that was a whole lot of stuff thrown at you real quickly. So do you guys have any questions? Does that seem okay? You think you feel okay with all of that? You want to think about it? Did that all make sense? And
It made sense to me. I mean, I'm okay with that. You said you're going to start a big push again next week?
we're going to start it on the 8th. We're going to start on the 8th. And then we do a report on Tuesday. We've been doing it on Tuesdays, every Tuesday. So we probably won't have very much on the 9th. So it probably would be the following Tuesday, the 18th, before we'd really have anything. That's right, and the 18th. Before we'd really have anything for you to work on. So it'll be a couple of weeks. And
Okay.
yeah, and so we were thinking we might start you with like 6. I don't know if, we can do more or less as you get into it if you find it's taking a lot of time or it's not taking hardly any time at all, but if 6 seems good with you guys, if you want if you want more than that, if you want less than that, let me know. We don't want to overwhelm you, but, obviously we're expecting we're going to get, quite a few people. So we, really appreciate the help as much as you can do, but, don't take on too much. So you can let me know if 6 doesn't seem good. You can send me an email or something and let me know. But that's kind of what we were thinking. So do you have any questions, Melissa? Are you good?
No, I'm good. It sounds fairly straightforward and simple, and I'm good with 6.
Okay, great. Well, thank you guys so much. This is a really important thing in our growth, and um, just to be able to add more people because there's 3 of us here, right? We can't do the whole country, and so if we have more connectors and more people out there talking about the persecuted church, that's going to be really a huge thing and really an important thing for what we're doing. So okay, well, I'm going to follow up with you guys. I'm actually I don't know if you can tell, I'm in a hotel room right now. I'm traveling, but I'm visiting churches right now. But I will, in the next day or two, I will email you guys, just because I'm traveling, things are a little weird, but I'll send you some of the things that we talked about. I'll send you the FAQs. I'll send you the email that has the links in it. So you have that in case that's one of the most common questions we've gotten is I lost the links or I can't find them or what, and some phone scripts for just some things that you can use as a guide for what you might say to people and a sample email to send out. So you'll have all that to kind of start working with. And it might be helpful if you have the time, if you want to watch the training that they're going to be taking. It's fairly short. There's an orientation video. It's about 10 minutes. And then the connector overview is about, I think it's like 20 or 30 minutes. It's fairly short. So, if you can watch it, it might help you as you're talking to them. But it's probably not information that you guys don't already know. So just think about that. And then we'll start you out with 6. And we'll see how that goes. And then you guys please give us feedback because this is something kind of new that we're doing with connectors helping us with this. So, things that, would make it easier or better or faster or, whatever, just let us know. But please know that there are going to be people who are going to ignore you. So don't take it personal. You will have people who won't respond, and that's okay. But you will have people who will respond and will be very excited. We've had quite a few people who've come on as a result of this who are very excited, and I think are going to be really good additions to our team. So we'll kind of see how it goes. So okay, anything else that I can help you guys with?
You're going to include that flow chart, right?
Yeah,
The
I'll
flow
send that to
chart.
you.
Okay.
Yes, I'll send that to you. If that's helpful. I don't know. I'm a visual learner, so that kind of stuff helps me. But yeah.
I'm a visual learner as well, so to have that up there will be able to help me.
Okay. Okay, good. All right. Well, unless you have any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and turn the record off.